You know that nagging, persistent ache? Maybe it's in your lower back or your hips, and it just will not go away no matter what you do? It's super frustrating, and so many of us have been there. But what if the real cause is hiding somewhere you'd never even think to look? Well, let's get into it.
So you ask yourself, why does my back still hurt? You've tried stretching, you've tried resting, nothing seems to stick. And that's because we're often just treating the symptom, the sore back, but we're completely missing the actual root of the problem.
Get ready for this. The answer might actually be in your feet. I know, it sounds a little strange, but your feet are the foundation of your entire body. And it all comes down to this powerful chain reaction that starts from the ground up. So let's trace that connection, and we're going to start with the pelvis.
Okay, so the first major clue in this whole mystery is a postural thing called Anterior Pelvic Tilt, or APT for short. This is a really key piece of the puzzle that connects what's happening in your feet all the way up to your spine.
So what exactly is APT? The easiest way to think about it is to imagine your pelvis as a big bowl of water. When you're standing in a good, neutral position, the water is perfectly level. But with anterior pelvic tilt, that bowl tips forward, spilling water out the front. This is what creates that really pronounced curve in the lower back.
And here's what that classic APT posture looks like. That forward tilt of the pelvis kind of forces the stomach out and pushes the butt back. You see this stance all the time, and it's a huge, visible sign that the body's alignment is, well, it's just off.
Now here's the thing. APT isn't really a bone problem. It's a muscle problem. It's caused by an imbalance we call lower crossed syndrome. Think of it like a muscular tug-of-war. On one side, your hip flexors and your lower back muscles get super tight and overactive, often because we're sitting so much. And on the other side, your glutes and your abs get weak and lazy from not being used. This constant pulling match is what yanks the pelvis out of alignment.
Okay, so we know what APT is, but how in the world do your feet get pulled into this? Well, this is where we have to start seeing the body as this amazing interconnected system, what's called a kinetic chain. What happens in one part creates a ripple effect, a chain reaction, all the way through the rest of you.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Your posture isn't something that just happens at your shoulders or your hips. It is built from the ground up, starting with your feet. They're the foundation for your entire postural structure. And if the foundation is shaky, you can bet the whole building is going to have problems.
So here's how that chain reaction works, step by step. It often starts with something called overpronation. That's when your foot arch kind of collapses and your foot rolls inward. That makes your lower leg rotate inward, which then makes your knee and your thigh follow it. All of that constant inward pull on the hip joint eventually forces the pelvis to tilt forward just to compensate. See, a bad foundation forces your body right into APT.
But, and this is so important, it's a two-way street. Let's say you already have APT, maybe from sitting too much. That tilt shifts your whole center of gravity forward. This puts a ton of extra stress on your feet, which can cause or aggravate things like plantar fasciitis and can even make your overpronation worse. It becomes this nasty feedback loop where your hips and your feet are just making each other's problems worse and worse.
So this all leads to the big question, right? Why is this so incredibly common right now? Well, the main suspect is our modern, sedentary lifestyle. We have basically engineered movement right out of our daily lives, and our bodies are really starting to pay the price for it.
I mean, the office chair, it's become a trap for our posture. This scene right here is probably super familiar to a lot of you. But all these long hours spent sitting are actively creating the perfect storm for anterior pelvic tilt to develop.
Think about this number for a second. 50 days. If you sit for just 5 hours a day at work, that adds up to nearly 50 full 24-hour days of sitting, every single year. That is a staggering amount of time to be stuck in a position our bodies were never designed to hold for that long.
And here it is, the direct link. When you sit, your hip flexors are held in that shortened position and your glutes are completely turned off. If you do that for 50 days a year, year after year, you are literally training your muscles into that exact imbalance of lower crossed syndrome that we know causes APT.
Okay, enough about the problem. Let's talk about solutions. Because the good news is, you can absolutely work to reverse this. It all starts with being aware of it and then taking a few simple, targeted actions.
So let's start with how you sit. First thing, get your feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart. Next, you want to find that neutral pelvic position. Just gently rock your hips forward and back a few times, and then settle right there in the middle. Now, imagine a string is pulling your chest up towards the ceiling, and finally, just gently tuck your chin back. This lines up your whole spine from the base all the way to your head.
Next, let's go after those muscle imbalances directly. The glute bridge is fantastic because it wakes up those weak glutes, which helps fight that forward pelvic tilt. The plank strengthens your entire core, giving your pelvis the stability it desperately needs. And the dead bug, that one trains your deep core to keep your pelvis rock solid while your arms and legs are moving. They're all super simple, super effective, and you don't need any equipment at all.
So we've seen how the body is this single interconnected system where a problem in your feet can literally cause an ache in your back. The real takeaway here is that you have the power to influence that chain. By figuring out where your own issues might be starting, you can begin to rebuild your foundation one step at a time from the ground up.